Beautiful.
And we are live.
Yay!
Yeah,
Welcome,
we
welcome,
are.
welcome.
Let me make sure
How are
that
you
everything
guys?
is showing up the way it's supposed to on Facebook.
And when she does it, I'm gonna sing. Won't you take me to? We're taking you to Funky Town. Won't you take me to Funky
Can you
Town?
guys guess where we're going today?
Funky
It's
Town.
gonna be fun. It's
We
gonna be
taking you
so
to
much fun.
Funky Town. Do, 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 do. No, 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 no. We are so
And for
excited. So while she sets up, I'm here. I'm MJ, and you can find me just so I'll start off with this because we don't post our websites and we don't post any of that there. You can
yeah,
also find me at Love Notes from the Angels on Facebook and on Instagram. I am Love Note underscore from the Angels, all underscore. On Instagram, come check me out. I do some really nice videos, just on quantum chronicles and past life regression and all those wonderful things. And I do post cards daily. So in starting with posting cards, I figured what would be a good thing today. So I said I want to pull a card for me. And I want to pull a card for Gina. And at the end, I'm going to pull a card for all of you. So the card I got for myself, and I'm pulling from the Frida. I love Frida Kahlo. So I pulled
I
it
do
from the
too.
Frida deck. All right. And my card says, you are stronger than you think and more than you know. Be curious
Mhm.
and determined. Yes. MJ is curious into I'm a woman in search of wisdom. So I'm ever curious. And then for Gina, which is really nice. Look at that. I
Oh,
got it
like that's
says,
something I would do.
right, it says Flor hermosa, beautiful flower. Live to honor a legacy of love and propel yourself with your infinity. Be the star of your life. Isn't that beautiful?
Oh, thank you. We got
Yeah.
Lori. Lori says she's watching and working.
I'll
Well,
sing to you.
Laurie, you definitely do not want to have this tea at work with you today. Wait until you get
No.
home, okay? Wait until you get home. All right, for those of you who are, if you're new to the show, it's a really good day for you to be here. But yeah, we do some exciting things. We talk about tea, but we talk about tea from two aspects: the medicinal side and the spiritual side. So, yeah, it's fun. It's a lot of fun. When you're listening to me, you're thinking, "Oh, she's talking about the medicinal benefits," and then MJ comes on and she takes it to a whole other level.
And
Okay,
not to scare you,
so
but just to inform you where this has been, the history, the beautiful things that you can do with all these wonderful herbs, especially the herbs today.
I
Yeah,
know. I
focus.
just so you know, I've been making this tea for, I want to say, for about 2 years,
Wow.
and I I made it for a reason. I made it for spiritual purposes, but it wasn't until I really started to study the history of some of these herbs that it really blew my mind. I mean, it works. It works for what I want. But when MJ comes on and she tells you the background of these herbs, I did a little bit of research into it myself. Oh my gosh, yes.
You know what's great,
Anyway,
Gina, is that I love that now you are taking it to that level. Don't mind my doggy that's in the backyard. You're taking
oh,
that to that level that you are actually saying, wait a minute, I want to know what the spiritual side. And then you're actually saying, if I were a crystal, who were you? And I love that. You see, you're like, I like this game.
mhm.
It's really fun to sit there and think about, all right. And I look around my
Yeah.
home and I'll start with here. There's so many crystals in the world, but I'll only start with what I have first. But then I'll explore to other things because there's so many, but they connect so well. So let's
Yeah.
start us off with the first herb today. What do we got?
All right. So the ingredients in this tea are mugwort, passionflower, and vervain or vervine, depending on who you're talking to. Some people in the Caribbean say vervine, some say vervain. Okay. So mugwort, passionflower, and vervain. And just on the first two alone, you know that this is going to be amazing. So, first one we're going to talk about is mugwort. Let's talk about mugwort. The Latin name is Artemisia vulgaris. It is related to ragweed. So, if you're allergic to ragweed, chances are you're going to be allergic to mugwort. I am so sorry if you are, because this is such an amazing herb. Um, So that's I'm going to put that out there. It is a type of ragweed. So if you have allergies to ragweed, chances are you'll have allergies to the mugwort as well. In the past, mugwort was actually used to flavor food as well as different types of herbal medicine. All right. It was, and for me, mugwort is kind of paradoxical because it helps with insomnia. So it can actually put you to sleep, but it also helps to boost your energy. And in ancient days, the ancient Romans used to take mugwort and shove it into their shoes before they go on any kind of outing where they would get really tired. So it would prevent them from being fatigued. So mugwort for me is two-sided. It helps you to go to sleep, but on the other hand, it also helps to boost your energy, right? It is also used as a parasite cleanse. And I was just talking to MJ behind the scenes that I had a vision recently, and it showed that I needed to do some work on getting rid of a parasite in my body, because I did this raw vegan. I went completely raw vegan for about 2 weeks. It was hard. I've never been raw vegan ever. Vegan, but not raw vegan. And I think in those 2 weeks of going completely raw vegan, I picked up something. So in this vision, it showed that I had this parasite in my body. I mean, it clearly outlined it. Then I looked it up online because I wasn't sure what I was seeing. So I looked it up online. I found the picture because I managed to draw it, and I drew it and compared it to what I found online. It was clearly a parasite. So, but then when I thought about doing a tea for this particular show, I said, okay, we'll do mugwort passion. This one is called Dreamcatcher. That's a Dreamcatcher tea. But as I researched the ingredients and in more detail, I realized that this was perfect for a parasite cleanse. So here we are. I mean, everything just kind of falls into place, you know. So anyway, enough with that. Because I know you want to get on to hear what MJ has to say. Just means gonna be fun. All right. So mugwort also calms your nerves because it kind of helps to put you to sleep. So it calms your nerves, helps you to relax, to get you into that sleepy state. It helps with digestion, especially if you are trying to digest like really fatty foods. Mugwort will actually help with that. It helps to relieve itching and burning. So if you end up with a burn on your skin, a little poultice with some mugwort will help to relieve the itching and burning from that. Like I mentioned, it helps with parasites, and if you have any kind of like vomiting, a continuous vomiting, drinking a mugwort tea will help to reduce that as well. PMS issues, if you have irregular cycles, mugwort tea helps to kind of balance it out and make it more regular. In the past, I don't know how much of it is used now, but in the past, it's been used to treat epilepsy because it helps to calm the nervous system. So it helps to relieve those convulsions. It's used for epilepsy and convulsions in children, but it's not recommended on a continuous basis for children. And if you're pregnant or breastfeeding, mugwort is not for you. So that's another caveat there. Couple rules that we have to follow. In some states, this is considered to be illegal, and not because it's an illegal herb, it's because it is so invasive. So some states have completely said you were not allowed to plant it. So check with your local and state regulations before you go planting some mugwort seeds in your backyard.
Or grow it in a plant. Put it in a pot. That's the best thing because that is.
Yes, and just make sure that you collect your seeds, but just be safe and check the laws in your area, because in some states it is illegal to grow it. It's used for mental health as far as continuing fatigue and depression, for restlessness, anxiety, and I mentioned before for insomnia as well. It is possible to be used for weight loss benefits because it's high in B12. and the B12 helps to boost your metabolism. I'm not saying go out and drink a ton of mugwort because you have to drink a lot of mugwort to get the benefits, but it has been shown to help with weight loss benefits.
Don't
A
do
couple more.
that.
It's also high in vitamin C, so it's going to boost your immune system. It's high in vitamin A, so it's going to help with, it can also help with improving your vision. And this is not just physical vision, as MJ is going to explain the other type of vision in a little while. So it works with vision on all levels. It may also be able to help to prevent macular degeneration and slow the development of cataracts. This has been scientific research that's been done over time. It has high levels of potassium, iron, and calcium found in the mugwort, which may help to prevent issues like osteoporosis. And I'm giving you science-based facts. This is not just stuff that, this is research that's been done over the years of mugwort.
Powerful herb.
Now, the final note I have, and I'm going to turn it over to MJ after this, is that the mugwort has been used to stimulate vivid dreams, as well as to help you to remember your dreams. And that was the main reason why I came up with this particular blend, because I have very, very vivid dreams, and sometimes I remember them, sometimes I don't. When I do remember them, it's like 6 months later. But I wanted something. This dream is not just for dream recall, it's for other things as well. There's a combination of physical as well as spiritual reasons why I created this. But I'm going to turn it over to MJ to talk about the spiritual aspects, because the mugwort used in a spiritual sense, it's going to blow your mind. If you have never worked with mugwort before, do your research and just find out just how it's very beneficial as far as a medicinal side. But on the spiritual aspect, if you're starting your spiritual journey and you're at a level where you're ready to
With any
up-level,
level. Let's just get there. I'm just going to take over from right there. I'm going to leave it
yes,
right there with you,
go
and I'm
for
just
it.
going to take that way. Okay, so mugwort, she said all those amazing medicinal things about it. So let's bring it down to the spiritual sense of what mugwort is. It's a feminine herb, okay? So it's connected with Venus, earth, and air elements, okay? So when you're using it, imagine that's the air that's coming in. So what does this do? It physically enhances your third eye and your abilities to prophesize, to see, to astral travel, to actually get out of body energy, to see that parasite that Gina saw because she drank some tea. Yes, you can drink. Yes, this could happen where you can have some tea or drink it and have visions. The Native Americans used to have these visions by drinking these teas and having these powwow ceremonies with the smoke, all right? Just as a tea, as the smoke does, all right? But this takes it a little further, okay? Mugwort is a witch's herb, okay? It's used for the utmost protection. It's used to call in spirits. Say you want to get spirits out, you call the sage in. You want to call spirits in, you burn some sage. Come. It's like opening the door and saying, welcome. You are welcome to come in. I want to connect with you. Let's get to the next level. It's extra sensory. All right. It stimulates third eye to open up and see, feel, sense anything. All right. It takes you over the veil. That is what it just does in that end. All right. Now, I'm going to talk about Native American tribes used to use mugwort on their body to protect themselves from ghosts. So you can call it in. That was the witch's side. Now look at the other side. They use it as protection because it is a protective herb. So they would put it on their body so that spirits wouldn't take their soul out, because they felt that spirits would go in and steal pieces of their soul. So mugwort would protect them at night while they slept. All right. In mid-ancient times, St. John the Baptist would have an actual grill of it. He would make a girdle of it, and he would make a crown of it that he would wear underneath. Why? Because it would protect him from curses and hexes and witches' sorcery. They believed it was It was like the evil eye. To ward off the evil eye was mugwort. That's where it came in. All right. And look, that's ancient times. Let's go back to ancient China. In ancient China, they would keep it to keep evil spirits and other negative forces from entering on spiritual journeys. So they would burn the herb while they went on journey to make sure that they cleared the way. I personally use mugwort to call in spirit when I need to connect with them. They literally come in and it clears the energy for me out of it, and I go. I'm gone. I do what I need to do, and then I come back in my body again. So it is that strong protection. Mugwort can be used as a love spell. Let's not forget back this, okay? Love word, yes. I said all that scary stuff, but let's talk about love now because it's Valentine's Day, okay? You could hex them or you could call in love with them. Let's go. Multi-purpose. So as for love, it is said that back in the day, widows would put mugwort in their bras because they would want to call in love again. So they felt that mugwort was the herb to bring in their new lover. All right, because it cleared the path of energy and the negativity. And then maidens would carry it stuffed underneath inside their areas to call in and attract the new man because they were maiden. So in both forms, the widow would say, I'm still available. And that was the love spell. They would hang it on the doors to let the people know that they were available. And that was mugwort. That's like the kissing one, the one we use on Christmas. The
Mistletoe.
Thank you. Yeah, it was the mistletoe back in the day. We're talking back in the day. So this herb is, and then in Greece, let's go back to Greece now. In Greece, they used to gain love and friendship. They would hang mugwort over your bedroom door when you got married to make sure that no evil or spirits or negativity would come in and disturb your blessings. So look at all the ways in different cultures this one herb was used, but it's mainly used, it opens your vision. Okay, it like opens you up, and it's a portal opener, and it lets you go through. You open a portal with it, and just with mugwort. Now add on these other ingredients in there. She calls it dream work, but I call it funky town because it's going to get you up there and take you into the next level of yourself. This is taking you. Mugwort alone will take you out of your 3D world and take you up into the next level. All right. So it's beautiful. If you want to do a little journey, if you're spiritual, you want to sit down, hunker in, drink some mugwort, and ask your guys what you need to know. And you watch, the experience is going to be super amazing. So when it came to mugwort, I had a hard time with this crystals because there are so many. So we're talking prophets, physical, third eye, enhancing, astral travel. So for me, the number one stone I got was Herkimer Diamond, because Herkimer Diamond is the number one astral travel. Let's go stone. We're flying prophecy stone. This is it. Herkimer Diamond. And my Herkimer Diamond, I want to tell you, is kept in a little package, seal it, because it's my fancy. It's like when you keep things fancy. This is how I keep my Herkimer Diamond, and I use her.
Nice.
So that was Herkimer.
Yeah.
That was the one. The second stone I got was Ideolite. Let's put some this Ideolite stone is just like equivalent to mugwort. Take a piece, put it on your third eye. Challenge. Come back and tell me when you do it. Just put it in your third eye and just lay there and take deep breaths in. And you're going to feel the difference. Your third eye is going to start pulsating. Okay. For me, I put it on and I'm gone. It lets me see things, clear things. So Ideolite is another stone that is for astral projection going, and it works just as well with mugwort. The other two ones that I got, which were,
let me say something about the eyelight, because I believe the Vikings used to use eyelight for their navigation as well.
Yes, as well. Right.
Yeah.
Right. Back in the day, it helped them with that. They helped them see. All right. But so it was a very protective, but for astral travel and visions and prophecies, put a piece of Idolite on your third eye, and you're going to feel what they felt back in the day. You're going to understand why they used it. And don't be afraid of it. It's such an amazing stone. You're connecting with pure energy. All right. And then the other two crystals that I saw that for me were just beautiful was Angelite. It's an angelic collection. Okay. That's working with the angels. Angelite is angelic energy, but it also helps you astral travel. It actually see visions as well. So this is the other beautiful stone that I would say for that. And then the last one is ametrine. That's that mixture of ametrine. Ametrine is an also perfect one to put on that third eye and fly. So these little crystals, this little set alone, imagine if you had all of them together. Make a little powerhouse and put it on, or a little grid by your bed when you want to go on an astral travel or a nice little journey. Make a cup of mugwort with the crystals, and guess what? You're gonna have the same. You're gonna go fly, fuck it
Oh,
out. And
wow.
that's what I have for mugwort.
And Anna is saying, so carry mugwort with me at all times?
There you go.
Probably
It's
will.
gonna be really good for you, Anna.
Yeah. All right. So the next one, I know everybody's probably going to go out looking for mugwort after this. The next one is vervain. Um, and I mentioned with mugwort that it has this parasite cleanse ability. It's the same thing with vervain. It has these. It's known for clearing destruction or obstructions in the kidneys, the liver, the gallbladder, the spleen. Helps to alleviate stress, and you're going to see a lot of this quality throughout all three of the ingredients, alleviating stress. It does help with the digestive system, because once it relaxes your nervous system, is going to help with digestion, because your digestive system is now calm enough to actually do what it's supposed to do, which is digest your food. There are certain things in vervain called tannins that, according to research, are really good or can be really good for your oral health. So if you make a tea with vervain, you can use it as a mouthwash, because it's the tannins in that will help to protect your gums, your teeth. It is a very powerful analgesic, so you might feel a little bit of a numbing effect when you start to swish it around, especially if you make it fairly strong. It does have that numbing effect, but it's really good for things like gout. If you have any kind of joint pain, nerve pain, the vervain is really good for alleviating that kind of pain. It's really good for detoxifying, for cleansing, especially if you're eating meals that have excess fat and excess salt. So we saw that with mugwort as well, with the excess fat. So in combination, this particular tea may actually help with a little bit of weight loss, but don't go drinking it all the time, because you don't want to do that. You don't
And what
want to do that.
happens when
That's
you
one of
drink
the
something all the time? What happens? You're going to
yeah,
clear your body, and then your body's going to get used to it, and then you're not going to.
right,
It's not going to work for you. So it's not something you want to
right,
do.
exactly. So this also helps with respiratory issues. And I don't know if you've noticed in the news lately, there's been a lot of people. Well, I don't know. I've seen it on TikTok. I've seen it on Instagram, all those places where a lot of people are talking about vervain in the using against that big C word that's been in the news for the last couple of years that we don't say on the show, because it is supposed to be really good for respiratory health. Right? There's been a lot of research that's been done as far as respiratory health regarding bronchitis, colds, sore throat, that sort of thing. So in my culture, vervain is is a very popular tea. And this time of the year, and with everything that's been going on, vervain has been a very popular tea to be drinking. It is known as an expectorant. So if you do have a lot of mucus in your lungs, or in your respiratory tract, it helps to get that out. Okay, it's really good if you have seasonal allergies. So vervain is a really good tea for that. And like mugwort, it does help to reduce anxiety. It calms your nerves. If you have anything like a general anxiety disorder, this is a pretty good tea to help to relieve that anxiety. And especially if you can combine it with something like chamomile or the tea that we made last week. So you might want to go back and listen to last week's episode. Adding a little bit of vervain to that would be a powerhouse. It's really good for alleviating mild depression, helps to stimulate what we call the happy hormones like dopamine and serotonin. So vervain is really good for that. It has anti-parasitic properties, which I mentioned. So when I had my vision, and then like a couple days later, I thought about doing this tea as as the highlight for the show. I never really thought about the parasitic benefits of it, but lo and behold, it's really good for that. Pretty much all of the ingredients are good for the anti-parasitic properties. Helps to prevent the parasites from actually settling in your body. So, parasites have this habit of kind of latching onto your intestines and setting up shop. Well, the vervain will prevent them from doing that. So they're easily flushed out whenever you're doing a parasite cleanse. So if you go on vacation to places where it's been known that vacationers pick up, bugs in the water or in the food, taking some vervain tea would be a good idea. All right. It also helps with PMS issues like bloating and mood swings. And this one is actually good for people who are mothers who are breastfeeding. And if you are low on milk, it actually helps to stimulate more milk for you. But if you are, let me put this, how do you put this nice? If you are a woman and you're not trying to get pregnant, it is not going to stimulate the breast to produce milk. Okay, so don't be afraid that it's going to do something you don't want it to do.
If you're a crone like me, it will not work. You'll be all right.
Right,
Okay?
it's not going to do that. All right, so don't be concerned about that. There are a couple possible side effects with vervain, so I have to mention that. If you drink too much of this, too much of a good thing can be bad for you. So you may end up getting an upset stomach if you drink too much. And always, always, always consult your doctor before you start to drink any of these herbal remedies, please, because if you're taking any kind of pharmaceutical meds, they can interact with herbs. Whether you're taking this tea for spiritual purposes or medicinal purposes, please consult your doctor.
Absolutely.
Before you start to add any of this to your particular arsenal.
Especially if you're taking medications and you're not,
especially if you're taking medication.
If you're on the spiritual sense, I'm just going to say this, I agree with her 100%. She's giving you all the benefits, but on the spiritual side, you say, well, I'm spiritual, I'm going to just do this. Just make sure that it aligns with your medication. It's very important.
Yes. All right. So over to you, MJ.
Vervain is another one that I was like, oh, now this is another female energy plant. Okay. It is another one that comes from Venus, and this is a water element sign. All right. So I'm going to get really deep down. All right. The primary role is it's protection. All right. It protects believers against evil spells or negative energy and purifies your sacred space. That is what its main purpose is for. But let's go back, because this vervain goes back to Isis times. We're talking Macedonian times. All right. So I'm going to mess up this name, but there is a goddess called Sedui. Sedui she's kind of a dark goddess, they're saying. All right. But Sedui used to use vervain to banish people. She would make herbal mixes, and it's a banishing spell to banish people. You would use vervain and you would call in Sedui, and she is the crossword taker. She would come in with the vervain, and she would take whatever you would leave at the crossroads. Okay. So that was one of them. Isis would line up her ritual room with vervain as well, because it called in love and abundance, and she wanted that love because she was all about the love and abundance for her. All right. It's called the Enchanted herb, associated with magic, spiritual practice. It goes back to ancient times, Greek. The druids would take it and they would use it, meaning, okay, so it's called, in druid times, it's called Vervain, meaning to drive away. So they would gather vervain when the dog star Sirius was up in the sky. So they waited for the right time and the right moon, and that's the only time they would go and pick it, the druids, because it was used for its spiritual powers. This was a banishing cream. All right. It was only used for rituals. All right. They would make magical drinks of it, and they would give it to people that needed to have creativity, that for people who
Yeah.
needed to see things and clear things. They actually drank it, and it would banish evil spirits from them or in them. So understand how good that is. All right. King Solomon, this, like, talk about this. King Solomon would use vervain back in the day, and the Romans, they would put it in the altar to honor Athena and Diane, the goddesses. All right. That was their main principle for her. All right. And in Egypt, it was believed to have sprung from the tears of Isis when she lost her husband. So the actual herb was thought to be created by Isis. She cried tears of vervain when she lost her husband. All right. In Christianity, it is used to treat. It was used to treat Jesus on the cross. So with that day of reckoning for him, they took vervain and they were literally putting it on his wounds to help his wounds as well. So it's a very protective stone. It protects against uh, demonic altercations. So if you have demons, if you work in that realm and you're working with demons, this vervain will help you get rid of demons. It's also, back in the day, it was said that back in medieval times, they would hang it from their homes to ward off vampires. So if they felt you were a vampire, they would literally hang it in front of their doors so that vampires wouldn't enter, and they would have it by their window cells. So I want you to know how powerful that. Okay, in the Aztec times,
1 second, MJ. Laurie says there's a little bit of a feedback. I want to make sure that everything is good.
you hear me? Is it me? Oh, hello, hello. Are you
All
good?
right,
You hear
keep
me?
going.
All right, all right. And then in the Aztecs times, vervain was used for headaches. They would use it to clear a headache out. That's how they would crush the herb, where they would put it with water and they would give it to you. All right. And in Europe, I want you to know that it is called the herb of love because they believe it brings in love. So vervain really, really has a lot of ingredients in here for working with the moon, for banishing, for clearing. All right, for seeing, for enhancing. It enhanced your dreams. You had lucid dreams. It was very powerful. So for me, when I thought of vervain being a Venus water energy, I found the K12 stone crystal. Let me just read what the K12 crystal is so you understand. K12 crystal is deep relationship with seeing, lucid dreams, divination, magic, purification. It's a combination of crystals of azurite. So it has all those crystals in this one crystal to make it. It helps banish. All right. It clears away. It unlocks your third eye. All right. And gives you lucid dreams. So this one crystal will do everything that one tea would do. It's the same thing, and it's the K12, the K2 crystal, and it's called, and the K2 crystal. That's somebody gave that fancy name. The actual name of this crystal is called raindrop azurite. That is the actual name of that crystal, and that is what I have for vervain.
Wow. Telling you, I learned so much when I was doing the medicinal research on. I mean, I knew a little bit of it, but still, I learned so much. And then
It's so much.
the spiritual usage of it and the magical uses of it from ancient days to now is just amazing.
It's
You
so
know.
much, and it's so. I mean, it just shows you. It just gives you a track in history. If you're into that, it goes back. If you need research, if you need, I need to know. This herb goes all the way back. We're
Yeah.
talking about the beginning of time. This herb was there. That's how important this herb is.
Sure is. All right. So this tea only has 3 ingredients. The last one is passion flower. So if mugwort and vervain, are third eye openers, you can just imagine what passion flower is going to do. Okay. So traditionally, passion flower was used for things like anxiety, um, and even before someone goes into surgery, if someone was experiencing really high anxiety, they would be given some passion flower tea, maybe depending, but 30 to 90 minutes prior to the surgery to kind of help them to calm down. But this would be done under doctor supervision. because it would also be based on the kind of anesthetic they were going to have and whether they were on certain medications. Because if it was blended with, or if it was taken with a particular anesthetic, which lowers your heart rate, and then you take the passion flower, which also lowers your heart rate. If your heart rate is lower too much, what could happen? Chances are you don't come out of your, out of the surgery very well, right? So it was always well monitored when it was used prior to somebody having surgery, when they were having really high anxiety. If you have insomnia, passion flower has been used historically and still to this day for difficulty sleeping. High stress, passion flower is also used for pain and has also been added to foods and drinks as a colorant because that really pretty purple color in it. So I'm going to say this as far as passion flower tea. Do not drink and drive when you're taking passion flower tea. And do not drink and drive when you are taking, if you decide that you're going to make this blend, this is one of those do not drink and drive while under the influence of this tea, because it is a powerful third eye opener. And it also has a potential to make you very, very sedated in order to put you into that state. So you don't want to be operating a vehicle or any kind of, machinery while you're drinking this tea. I typically drink it late in the evening or right before I go to bed.
Or ritual, if you're going to do a ritual, or you're going to do a ritual, set yourself up and then you drink your tea and you already know in that mind frame. Yeah.
Right. But you do not want to go drinking this and then decide to take a trip down to the beach. No, don't do that. So it can cause drowsiness, dizziness, confusion, obviously if they're going to make you very sleepy. Now, if you are pregnant, you cannot take this. You cannot drink passion flower because it can actually trigger labor. So do not take passion flower tea, pills, whatever the case is, while you're pregnant, because that could trigger contractions and then put you into early labor or cause a miscarriage if you're in the early parts of pregnancy. So be very, very careful with that. If you're breastfeeding, according to scientific studies, they're not sure whether it's safe when you're breastfeeding or not. So that's all we can really say about that. Nobody is sure as to how much you can drink when you're breastfeeding. Okay, so my suggestion would be to not drink passion flower tea while you're pregnant, because remember, everything travels over. I mean, while you're breastfeeding, don't drink it while you're pregnant. But if you're breastfeeding, then don't. I would suggest not drinking it because it travels across to the baby, and then the baby gets the benefits or the effects of the passion flower tea. Now, if you have no intention of breastfeeding, the passion flower tea can actually help you to, when mothers who don't breastfeed have trouble with engorgement, the passion flower tea could actually help with the engorged feeling and help to dry out. Right, so there are benefits to the passion flower tea if you choose not to breastfeed. But if you are going to breastfeed, do not take it. It is considered to be safe for children for up to 8 weeks between the ages of 6 and 13, if it's taken under a doctor's supervision for anxiety, sleeplessness, that sort of thing. Right, but only under a doctor's supervision. So that is passion flower tea, or the passion flower itself. Over to you, MJ.
Okay, so passion flower, once again, another female. This whole tea is just woman power, female energy altogether. All right. It is also another Venus plant. You know what I'm saying? There are three. That's three Venus and that's three feminine energy there. So you imagine the female power in that one tea. So this again is a water element. Okay. So this is, like she said, is good for peace and sleepiness, but it's emotional balance. All right. So this tea is a friendship tea. It's for connecting. In spiritual terms, it helps you connect friendships. It's called to bring in bonding and connection. If you're feeling lonely and you're like, I'm alone, why am I so alone? Drink some tea and it'll help you connect, that you don't feel that you love yourself more. All right. This tea is supposed to, if the bearer wears this tree, they don't feel lonely anymore. They feel friendship. They feel that they're loved. Okay. So if you're feeling like unwanted by yourself, this is a really good tea to say, hey, I'm gonna take care of myself. All right. This tea back in the day, it's funny, it's a two side. Back in the day, the medieval times, when people were going having mental issues and they were being hysterics, they would crush up this tea and actually force them, feed them the tea, and that's how they would calm them down. So a lot of the mental institutions back in the day would crush this tea up and giving it to. Now on another witchy side, okay, in witchcraft they would use this tea to actually help when people wanted to curse people and wanted people to lose
Mm.
children, and they would actually go to people that would help create this magical blend, and the person, but the rule was the person had to serve it to the person. So
Mm.
the the witch of the time wouldn't make it. She would make it, but she would give it to you, Gina, and say, now you do your job. And they say if it was a husband trying to get rid of the wife and the child, it was very used in a very bad sense back in the day for
Wow.
some really nasty stuff. But overall,
Mhm.
when you brought it into, for me it was more about friendship, prosperity, bringing in friendship, abundance, and love. So this is a good tea to
Mhm.
have, or just a herb to have around, or to even sprinkle on a candle. You can put it on a pink candle or a white candle, and just to call it love. We're now in Valentine's. Friendship, it's friendship month. This is a
Mhm.
perfect herb to use to call in that spiritual side of love and call it essence. I'm using it for love. May you come my way in all directions. And that's what it is. So for me, I had one choice. I only had one choice because it's my stone. It's my birthstone. It's the Virgo birthstone. It's peridot. Peridot is the
Mm.
stone, and I have it in. You know what I noticed in my life? I don't have any peridot jewelry, and I don't have a big crystal of peridot. I have little chunks, tiny
Yeah.
chunks, and they're really green. But
Mhm.
it is the stone of friendship, and it
Mhm.
calls in prosperity and friendship and kindness and love for oneself. And that's what I got from passion flower. Passion flower for me is peridot because it brings all in the same qualities.
So if you were to come up with one particular stone for this whole tea, what would it be? Or was that
For
really
me,
hard?
for me, it was Moldavite. And why Moldavite? Why Moldavite? See,
I'm wearing the Moldavite. Got Moldavite on.
you see, we're on the same page. You know why Moldavite? Because of the Mugwort and Vervain being so powerful, it gives you that astral travel. Let's fly. Let's go to Funky Town. It's gonna take you to Funky Town. It's gonna take you to where you need to go and see, feel, and connect with. And this is really good. Say you want to go on a journey. Say you have questions. Say you want to ask your guide something. This is a perfect tea to go in and drink and actually connect. And you will get the answers that you need from this one tea. So for me, Moldavite, because Moldavite is that I'm gonna take you and I'm gonna go. That's like you when you put it on that third eye and you saw
Yeah.
what you had to see. That's what this is to me. It is a Moldavite, and I wear Moldavite, so I'll come up close.
Yes. I
Yeah,
have my
yes, you come
Moldavite
up
earrings
close.
on.
So now that is it for me. But overall, that's what I have for this crystal. But I do have a question. Somebody gave me a question, and I thought it was a really great question for you. So I'm going to ask you this question. So, how would how would we overall help someone that is having nausea from chemotherapy? What herbs, tea blends should they be drinking to help? They want to go natural. What herbs should they be drinking? I recommended to them when they call me that they cut up some ginger, because when I get really bad nausea, I cut it up. Not the I don't drink the tea. I literally go get the herb, the root, and I cut it
Right.
up and I boil it for 20 minutes or so. I let it steep in there and then I pull it out with the chunks, and that helps me. And I chew the chunks because the chunk chewing is just as important for your stomach.
Mhm.
What would you say
Well,
to some for that question?
ginger is definitely really good. You can actually do a soup that includes ginger and lots of different mushrooms. Those are really good for helping with the nausea from chemotherapy treatments. So a blend of all of the different mushrooms. Oh gosh.
I put you on the hot seat with that one.
I'm trying to think of the mushrooms that are really good. Oh gosh, portobello mushrooms. If you can get reishi mushroom, I know the powder, you can put that in. Chop up lots of onions and garlic. You can put some the powdered ginger, or you can put the root in. The root is actually better, and you just simmer that down and have them sip on that. Don't go guzzling it because they're already experiencing nausea. The faster that they drink it, it might cause it to be a lot worse. So it's
So a
just for
nice
something
little
for them
sip.
to sip on. Just those just simmer a tea with the lots of different medicinal mushrooms and some ginger. If you want to just to make that's more of a soup. If you want to make a tea, you can add ginger with peppermint. That is also really good for soothing the stomach when you're going through any kind of chemotherapy treatment.
No, sure. So
I
yeah.
know that's
So I hope that answers your
Mhm.
question, and we want you to let you know and invite you if you have a question like that. We are open and willing to answer these questions for you. So come on, post, contact us on the side and say, hey, I have this
Mhm.
question, because these are really good questions and we really would like to. This is what we're here for. Not only to tell you what the medicinal and the spiritual and get you into the
Yeah,
crystals of it all, but if you have these questions, because Gina and I both believe that these herbs help us heal, and that's why they're here. So don't be afraid by what I tell you, that scary side. Oh, don't be scared, because I believe magic is not dark or light. Magic is what it is, and it's what you
yeah.
make of it. And as long as you make it you and you're a pure person, you have nothing to worry about. But these herbs are meant to help us heal. So
Mhm.
let's use them and ask the questions, because we'll tell you what blend works together and what you should if you're sick.
Yeah,
So if you have questions like that, please, we're here
yeah.
for that.
And as far as the mushrooms are concerned, you don't have to go out and find. They don't have to be fresh mushrooms. You can go into these Italian, not Italian, the Oriental markets, and they have big bags of the dried mushrooms. And sometimes you can find really good mixtures of the medicinal mushrooms. So you just buy the big bag and you take it home, or you have, if you're not able to go, have somebody go, of course, for you, and get that big bag of the medicinal mushroom. And once you put it into the pot, of course, they're going to soften up. But that is the way to go, and it's very, very cost effective buying it in a big bag of the dried, because it lasts quite a while. You can buy a big bag for, gosh, I mean, I'm talking about a gigantic bag for maybe $10, $15, and you can probably make 3 or 4 um, huge helpings of that soup out of it. Such knowledge. Thank you so much. That was from Deborah. Well, I'm really glad that this information helps you. Like I said, this particular tea was a little different. I'm going to show you what these are all dried, and it's mugwort, passionflower, and vervain. I created it for spiritual purposes, but it has a lot of medicinal purposes as well. So, and I was actually drinking it while we were doing the show. So, um, yeah, after this, I may just go take a nap.
So I have a card
Cheryl
for us.
says, I've been drinking
Okay.
tons of ginger with the tea y'all made
Okay.
a few weeks back, and it has helped my chest so much. Well,
Yay!
we really love to hear those kind of that kind of feedback. Karen says chicken and sweet corn soup if you're not vegan or vegetarian. Oh, I've never
Very
heard of.
interesting. Okay.
Interesting. Karen, we may have to bring you on the show so you can talk a little bit more about that if you're open to it.
Anything that help. If you opened it, we would. Anything that helps.
Yes.
Remember, this is all medicinal. Anything that will help someone else, we want to get the word out for them. And if you have questions like this question that we got here, please, we're more than happy to answer them. Hmm?
And I'm going to post the name Vervain so everyone can see the spelling.
Yes.
Um,
Yes. Right. And I thought of when I first saw the name. Remember Batman? Vervain, Vain. It was, and
mhm.
it wasn't. It was. I say Vervain, but it was Bane. I know it was Bane. Okay, guys, I'm into this. Let's go. It was Bane when Poison Ivy would be like, "Let's go, Bane," and she would hit him, and then he would get all full of her herbs. One of the herbs that she used to make Bane was Vervain.
Mhm.
Just so you
And
know that.
and Earlier, I mentioned a few caveats about different ingredients in the tea, as far as who shouldn't drink the tea, and looking up your local and state regulations, because in some states it is illegal to plant it. It's not illegal to use. I mean, you can buy mugwort from whatever herbal store. You just can't plant it in certain states because it's considered to be invasive. And once you
Right.
plant it, it just takes over and it takes over and it keeps going and going. So some states have banned the growing of it. So check with your state before you go planting it in your yard, unless you are going to have it really controlled. And but I would just say, just don't plant it. Just order the stuff from the herbal
Yeah.
stores online. There's a lot of them.
Unless you're
Yeah,
good and you're actually got the garden going on and something that you're going to maintain, you know what, just get the
yeah.
herbs, and I'm good with that. So I said I was going to pull a card for everyone that came here and everyone that watches the replay. So I'm pulling from the Frida Kahlo card deck today, and it's what it is. Your card says your life has magnitude. You are magnificent. Honor yourself with a grateful attitude. Ooh, we need to honor ourselves, guys. And remember, be grateful for being you. You are special no matter what you look like, feel like, sense like, and be. You're amazing exactly the way you are.
I want to clarify something for Cheryl. She says
Okay.
illegal. That's crazy. It's the reason why it's illegal in some states, Cheryl, is because it is so invasive and it just takes over. Once you plant it, it seeds and it just continues and spreads and spreads. So because it's considered to be invasive in some states, they've made it illegal. You're not allowed to plant it. It's not that it's illegal and you can't drink it.
No, no. It's
You
just
just have
like
to order
bamboo
it
here.
from somewhere.
Right.
So that's why
So
I
it's just like
suggest
bamboo.
check. Right. So
What else?
check with your local and state government and the regulations and see what if you're allowed to plant mugwort in your particular area. It's not that it's
Yes.
illegal as in you can't drink it or you're not supposed to possess it. Um,
And like I said, you could always go back to the pot version, and it's just like bamboo.
mhm,
Bamboo here on the island is from here, and bamboo spreads like wildfire. So you're not allowed to take bamboo off the island because
mhm,
the United States has banned it. You see, it's
right.
bamboo. You would say bamboo. They banned bamboo because it's so invasive. It'll you plant it and it'll take over and just
Yeah.
grow and grow and grow, and that's why. So vervain and mugwort are just like that.
Yes, exactly. Yes, vervain is also very invasive and it just takes over. You plant it, it's gonna go. But for some reason, the mugwort in some places, in some states, they've banned it from planting it. So just be very careful. Check your laws, check your
Okay.
regulations in your state. Well, I'm sure that was we learned a lot more about these herbs than we thought. When you start to do the research on the herbs and spices in your kitchen and in your spiritual cabinet, I'm telling you, you really can go down a deep rabbit hole. Um, and that's one of the reasons why I asked MJ to join me on the show, because I always speak from a medicinal standpoint because I'm a master herbalist and that's what I studied. But from doing different courses, I'm also intrigued by the spiritual aspect, and I know that is MJ's specialty. So by combining the two, you're learning about these herbs from both angles, and then she throws in the crystal aspect, and that was a bonus. I didn't know that was coming. So, and that makes it even more intriguing when you can combine the teas with your crystals, all of these different tools that you work with. It really just makes for an amazing spiritual experience. So,
I didn't become a crystal master for nothing. I'm like, I didn't take years of a crystal master courses for nothing. I used them. Well, because I'm a Reiki master, I use crystals in my
yeah,
Reiki sessions. So and I know you do as well. And it's very important, the energy. So why not use them in your tea too? Imagine taking this beautiful angel light and just sitting with it. You know the energy that you have just by sitting with this crystal as you drink your tea. Remember,
mhm,
the magic's in the tea. It's in the cup
mhm.
right there, and you have it.
Oh, let's last thing before everybody leaves, because someone asked if I have a magical cup. I do have a magical cup, but I want to show you, if you don't have one and you have a cup that you love to use, I'm going to show you a trick, okay? Get a piece of sandpaper, rub down the top portion right here, just to kind of rough, and then use your E6000 glue and your favorite crystal that you like to work with, and just glue it on there. Just attach it. So every time you go to drink your tea in that special cup, when you hold it, your thumb is always connected with that crystal as you drink your tea. So you can jazz up your teacups. You don't have to go out and buy a special mug. I mean, if you have your favorite tea mug, just attach a piece of crystal, your favorite crystal, to it. Very
That's
simple.
so awesome. You know, it's funny that you said that because I just gave a class on how to set your table. We don't set our tables anymore. We're such a fast-paced world, and we don't take care of ourselves. And in setting the table, I told them to take your fork and add crystal chips to it. Your
Mhm.
favorite crystal chip to your fork and spoon. Add your favorite cup. Add crystals to it. Take your plate and in the corners add some crystals and make it
Mhm.
your special plate. Get a placeholder, put it on that means something to you. Honor the ritual of eating. We have forgotten with this fast-paced world to enjoy food. So when we honor what we eat and how we eat it, it's just going to be so much different. It's going to be a different experience. Even zipping the tea with a crystal here and your thumb on there. Look at that. That whole imagine now
Yep.
a plate and a fork and a spoon. It's about honoring yourself. This year is
Mhm.
about 2022 is about honoring every, it starts with you. They were like, no, well, my family first and this, but no. I'm going to tell you the
Yep.
reality. You come first because if you don't take care of you, you can't take care of
Exactly.
anybody. Okay. And if
Exactly.
you say, oh, it's God first, no, God is right here. I'm going to tell you, my
Mhm.
angels and God are right here. They're like, no, you're messing up. We're
Mhm.
with you. We're up. No, you're going to up. My shoulder hurts, but we go up and down, and you see how you go up and down. Your
Mhm.
angels and your God is right with you. When I say
Yeah.
your God, forever He is in your whoever you name. We all name someone else, so whoever you name, they're there with you. They're at the
Yeah.
same level as you. They don't feel they're higher than you. They feel you're on the same level. Now, acknowledge that you have God, goddess energy in you, and honor yourself. Be good to yourself. Use that special plate, that fork, that cup. It's all part of this experience. So I totally agree. Thank you for saying that because I have a team of people I've challenged in my little group. I've challenged my people to
Mhm.
honor them and set a place at the table
Mhm.
amazingly for them. So
Yeah.
yes.
Remember, you serve from the saucer, your overflow. You don't ever serve from your cup. Your cup should always be full. And let your cup overflow, and you should be serving from the saucer. Because if you're serving from a depleted cup, that's not good for you and it's not good for anybody else. So your cup should always be overflowing.
I hope.
And on that note, we appreciate everybody who stopped in. It was amazing in the chat. Tara was here, Cheryl was
Thank
here,
you.
Deborah, Anna. Am I missing anyone?
Thank
Karen.
you guys for being
And we
here
had
today. We
great
honor you.
interaction in the chat here, and I make sure I didn't miss anyone. Um, but yes, if you missed the beginning, I mean, there's going to be a replay. You can always come back and watch the replay and let us know what you think if you make the tea. I don't add any kind of sweetener. Some
No.
people say that mugwort is a little bitter. I find mugwort a little sweet. It all depends on the person drinking it, I'm guessing. But
Right.
I don't add any sweetener to this particular tea. I just drink it and then I enjoy the benefits after.
I'm gonna leave you with this. You are already sweet. Everything else is in you. You are already sweet.
Yes.
You don't need anything else.
So thanks everyone, and MJ, thank you again.
Thank you, Gina, for a great show. Take care, and I love you. Have a
Love
great.
you
Take
too.
care, guys.
Bye
Bye.
everybody.